pretty traumatic experience. The cutest thing ever. For some reason, I had a feeling that I would deliver earlier. I felt like I was about to get my period. This could not be happening. Then she was like, girl, you're about to have a baby. I'm not ready, I can't do this. I'm so tired. She checked me and she laughed. Great timing for me to give birth right now.
Because baby's position is not the best.
So we tried getting me on all fours. A lot of doctors come into the room. We cannot wait anymore. Baby's really struggling right now. We didn't hear her cry. Is he even going to be okay? I don't really know. Meaning that dad cannot stay. We had to stay for 5 days. You need to come here. Baby needs to be admitted to the NICU. What the hell is going on? Welcome to the video. I am filming this pretty late because actually baby is 2 months old, but I feel like I needed some time to kind of process what happened and also deal with it. So I talked about it with my therapist, I talked about it with friends. Like, we've told the stories so many times already that I feel a bit more prepared to talk about it online. Just a trigger warning, I'm going to talk about a pretty traumatic experience, but with a good ending. So if that's something that you're okay with hearing, keep on watching. If this is maybe triggering for you or not something that you want to hear about because you're pregnant and a little bit nervous, skip the video. Yeah, just a trigger warning. Also, I had never announced the gender of our baby online. For some reason, I don't know, I felt like it was a cute thing to do to announce when baby was born. We found out as soon as we could. I am not one for waiting for that kind of surprise. So when we did our second trimester scan, we found out we had always pictured ourselves with a girl for some reason. Don't really know why. I know that I have a sister, so that's probably why, and my partner has 2 sisters. Maybe that's why, but yeah, if you've watched the previous video that I posted, we had a little boy, which was such a surprise. He is just so amazing and he's doing great. Remember that. Today I will share my labor, delivery, and postpartum experiences. It was a wild ride, so get ready, get something to snack on and drink because this is probably going to be a long video. So I was due August 14th. So in July, I was thinking that I still had a few weeks to go. For some reason, I had a feeling that I would deliver earlier. My mother delivered both my sister and I at 39 weeks. So I was thinking, yeah, probably in the 39th week. I don't know. I just knew I would deliver earlier. But 37 weeks, that was way earlier than we had thought it would be. My sister was at our house because she was all alone. Her partner was away for work and I was alone at the house. My partner was still working, of course. You know, I was like, might as well just enjoy some time together. So we had a few days that were supposed to be weeks together, enjoying just being 2 sisters, hanging out together on a Wednesday the 19th of July. It was a crazy day. We had a birth class during lunchtime. Then there were the sales of the Eras tour tickets, and I kind of came back home very quickly because my sister had access to the platform. So I kind of ran up the stairs.
Et Lolo, elle m'appelle dans la voiture en me disant ouais. Et du coup, j'étais là, non mais je sais pas. Et j'ai jamais... Christine, je me rappelle pas la dernière fois que j'ai monté les escaliers aussi.
Elle est allée si vite, je lui ai fait mais t'es folle. Elle arrivait, elle était là. Alors...
Mind you, I live on the top floor of a walk-up building, and usually it took me a bit of time to walk up the stairs, but I really wanted those tickets. We got tickets, so I was really excited. I was very like on a high that afternoon. We survived the Great War. And I had a few contractions, but I had been having contractions on and off for a few days. I want to say even 2 weeks probably, but you know, like it's Braxton Hicks, like practice contractions. So I was not really thinking too much about it. And then that evening we were going to see Barbie, and it was like the opening night. We were so freaking excited to see it, and I laughed so hard. I remember at some point I was like, I'm laughing a bit too much because my abs feel like they're working, and you're not supposed to work your abs when you're are pregnant. So I was a bit nervous, and I remember I had a couple very, well, not very, but more like stronger contractions at the beginning of the movie, and then it kind of went away. And we came back home pretty late, so I went to bed at 11:30, which was later than I would have wanted, especially considering I hadn't taken a nap. Next morning, July 20th, I woke up at 5:45. I felt like I was about to get my period. Like the pain was very similar, and I was like, yeah, you can't be having your period, you're pregnant. I felt like I needed to pee, so I went to the bathroom and I looked at my underwear, and I had a pad on, and there was, well, it's a bit TMI, but whatever, there was some water and it was a bit pink, and I knew that it was okay if it was a bit pink, just because it meant that the uterus is working. There's a lot going on down there, but it's fine. There was a lot of water, and I was like, okay. And I remember I was peeing, but I felt some water coming out of me after, and it was not coming from the same spot. So I started to panic a little bit, and I was like, this cannot be happening. I'm 37 weeks. This cannot be happening. But at the same time, I was like, that's a lot of water. Kind of ignored it, to be honest, and didn't really want to admit that it was early labor, that my water was breaking. So I went back in bed. I could not go back to sleep. After 15 minutes, I went back to the bathroom, and a lot of water came out of me. Thankfully on the toilet, so yay me. I started panicking even more, and I was like, this is it, girl. This is happening. There's nothing you can do about it. So I went and woke up my partner, and I was like, I think my water just broke. He was like, do you think, or you're sure? And I'm like, I'm sure. We started kind of talking about what to do next, and I just decided to take a shower and wash my hair. For some reason, I wanted clean hair. And he walked around the apartment picking things up that we would need. That, of course, our bags were not totally ready, so we still had a few things we wanted with us in the hospital. And then I went to wake up my sister, and I was like, my water just broke. She was so funny. She sat up straight, and she was like, no fucking way. And then she woke up. She was so nervous, and she was like, girl, you're about to have a baby. And I was like, don't say that, don't say that. Well, it's a pretty day. Quite early, if you ask me. Hi. I had so many contractions also. They were getting stronger and stronger, but also closer and closer together, and I was panicking. So hearing this, I was like, I'm not ready, I'm just not ready. And she helped my partner pick things up in the apartment. He prepared me some breakfast, because I knew that once I would be in the hospital, I would not be allowed to eat. But I had so many contractions that nothing was really enjoyable, and I felt like I didn't really have time to process, because I knew that because my water broke, I needed to get to the hospital soon-ish. I could not like labor at home. They were getting closer and closer together. I had an app, and I was putting like when it started and pressing when it was ending, and you had to choose like a level of pain, and I could tell that it was getting a bit higher. And at some point I FaceTimed my mom. My sister had told her, and she was like, I need to talk to her before she goes to the hospital. And as soon as I heard my mom's voice, I started crying. I was like, I'm not ready, I can't do this, I'm so tired. And she was like, it's fine, it's okay, but Gabby, you need to go pretty quickly, because we've been talking for like 5 minutes and you've already had 2 contractions. So we finished packing. My sister came with us to the car. That was pretty emotional. I was not okay, she was not okay, nobody was okay. So we went to kind of the emergency area for the maternity area where you deliver. We told her like my water broke, that I had pretty frequent contractions. I had to answer a few questions. She got us into a specific room. I had to wait there for someone to come and check me, and I was sitting on the chair, and I was in so much pain. The contractions were so frequent, and I started realizing that I could not talk through my contractions, and I knew that shit was happening, like it was getting intense. After what felt like forever, a midwife walked in, and she was like, I'm really sorry, there are so many births happening happening since yesterday. It's quite insane. And I was like, great timing for me to give birth right now. She checked me and she laughed and she was like, you're a champion. And I looked at her and I was like, I'm not feeling like one, but why are you saying that? And she's like, you're 6 centimeters already. Mind you, like my water broke at around 6:15. We arrived at the hospital at 8:45 and that was around 9:30 maybe that she checked me. And I was like, this is not possible. This is my first baby and it's only been like 3 hours. And she was like, yeah, it's just progressing very well. Your body just knows what to do. So what do you want to do right now? Do you want the epidural? What kind of room did you want to deliver in? We wanted one that had a bathtub, but where it was possible to get an epidural, I wanted the option. So we told her and she was like, you're so lucky because this is the only room that's available right now. So I can draw you a bath. We're going to wait for 45 minutes here, monitor you and baby. We have to wait because if you're around 8 centimeters, the protocol says that you cannot go into water. So we're like, okay, we'll wait. We tried to watch an episode of The Office, but I think we stopped after like 2-3 minutes because I had so many contractions. It was so painful that I had a really hard time not tensing up, not struggling. Honestly, I was really struggling physically, mentally. I felt exhausted already. It felt so long. The wait felt so long, and at some point I was like, how long is there still to wait because I'm in so much pain? I think we called her back early, but I'm not sure. But anyways, she checked me again and she laughed and she was like, you're at 8 centimeters, so there's no bath for you, girl. We're going to get you into the delivery room. Do you want the epidural or do you want to wait? And I didn't let her finish her sentence and I was like, I want the epidural, please. I'm struggling with the pain so much. I thought I could wait or not get it, but I can't. She answered that actually it was pretty normal because it had escalated so quickly that my body could not deal with the stress of the pain and know what to do, and so that was pretty normal. So we went into the room. We were so lucky because the anesthesiologist was already in the room, so I didn't have to wait more than 5 minutes. He gave me the epidural. It was painful for me. I had heard that it was not painful. It was really painful for me, and it took around 30-45 minutes. It felt really long, to be honest, and it started only working more on one side than the other, which was strange. So he had to kind of do his thing and try to make it work better. But once it worked, I felt high. I felt so much better. I was so much more calm. I could not really feel the contractions anymore, which was good because I definitely needed some rest. So we chilled a bit in the room. Our midwife came and introduced herself and she was so nice. And then oh, I don't know what's the name of that in English, just let me check. Childcare assistant. She came into the room. She was really nice, and we talked about like what kind of birth I wanted. They left us and we waited for everything to progress.
Okay, so we're in the delivery room, which has a pool but didn't have a chance to get in it because when she checked me 40 minutes later, I was 8 centimeters, already in a lot of pain. So we switched and I got the epidural, which was quite painful, which I was not expecting. And I felt so much better though. And now I'm on my side with my leg like up because baby's position is not the best. Like I think he's face up, like sunny side up. So we're trying to get him to move. We got oxytocin going and we'll see.
He was on his side but looking up, which is not what you want. You want him to look down so that it's easier for him to get into the canal. And so we tried to put me on the side and to have him like move. Waited an hour, didn't work. She had a specialist come in with an ultrasound machine and she said, yeah, he hasn't moved. So we tried getting me on all fours with a ball in front of me and a pregnancy pillow behind my legs, and we waited. I don't really remember how long we stayed in that position for. Well, I stayed in that position for. We were hooked on machines everywhere so we could hear my heartbeat, baby's heartbeat. After a while they came back. I was on my back once again and she was like, yeah, baby hasn't really moved. moved again. So we're going to wait in that position for a bit. Maybe your body will do its thing, like maybe baby will move on his own. I think it was around 4 p.m. at that point. We managed to watch an episode of The Office this time, and then we listened to some music. We listened to baby's playlist, which is basically Taylor Swift songs. By then we were pretty tired. We didn't really eat, like I could not eat, so I was only drinking apple juice, and because I had gestational diabetes, I felt pretty weak, and my partner was really tired as well. Mind you, we woke up so early, but also the day was very long, and he ate like a few snacks, nothing very substantial, so we were both not feeling great. I told him if he wanted to get like something to eat, and he was like, no, I don't really feel like anything, and I don't want to leave you. So we waited a bit more, and then at some point, I want to say around like 4:30, a bit more maybe, the door opened, and then we saw a flood of doctors come into the room. And we looked at each other and they were like, baby's heart rate is getting very concerning. He's not doing great. So we're going to have a specialist come in. The midwife was telling me, I think it was her talking to me. Honestly, I don't really remember. I think she told me I cannot deliver your baby anymore because there's more risk. So an obstetrician is going to come in and check you, and she's going to be the one delivering your baby. And I was like, okay, it's fine, okay. And so she came in, introduced herself, and she checked me, and she was like, yeah, he hasn't moved anymore, so we'll try once more to get you on your side to move. But if in 15-30 minutes tops baby hasn't moved and his heart rate is not doing great, we're either going to have to do an emergency cesarean, or we're going to try to deliver you vaginally, because by then I was 10 centimeters dilated, by the way. But we're going to probably need to use a ventouse to help him move in the canal. We were so stressed. Honestly, the tension in the room was very, like, you could feel it. The faces of the people in the room, because there were so many doctors, they were all looking pretty nervous, and you know, like, nobody was really smiling or anything like that. The childcare assistant was like, we're going to be here for you, don't worry, we're going to do our best, and it's not happening how you would have wanted, but it's okay. They all went out the room. There were so many births at the same time, to be honest, that they didn't really have time to stick around. We waited for a bit, but honestly, I think 15 minutes later, everybody came back into the room. They were like, we cannot wait anymore. Baby's really struggling right now, so we're going to try to deliver him vaginally. I'm going to help you, but we don't really have time to waste. My partner and I looked at each other and we were like, okay, whatever you need. And I was like, oh my god, I'm going to have to push the baby out. I feel so tired, I'm so nervous. It's not happening at all as I had imagined. I was on my back. I wanted a different position for my back pain, but we could not try that. So on the back, because it was the safest position for them to help me, she told me how to push, because of course we had 2 more birth classes, and the 2 were the delivery and the postpartum. We didn't get them, so didn't really know how to push. I had seen videos, but you know, they were professionals. So she told me how to push. She was like, as soon as you have a contraction, you're going to try to do 3 pushes. You hold your breath and you push as much as you can. We tried that, and she was like, okay, try your hardest. Everybody was very encouraging, but there were about, I want to say 7 to 10 medical people in the room with us, so that was not great. I had my partner on my right, I had the childcare assistant on my left, and the obstetrician in between my legs, and then everyone was around. And to be honest, I closed my eyes. We did some pushes, and at some point she was like, I'm going to have to use the ventouse, I'm really sorry, are you okay with it? And I was like, yeah, go ahead, do your thing, it's fine, totally fine. It was quite painful, but I knew it was really necessary. So honestly, even with the epidural, which they topped up before, I could still feel it, but I was not there. So it was okay. Then she was like, okay, you really have to give it your everything, because he is really struggling right now. I gave my everything. I just started counting in my head whenever I was holding my breath, because before that I was kind of picturing my partner and I with our dog and our baby, like walking into a forest, like my happy place basically. But I knew it was not working well enough, so I started just focusing on numbers and the next number, and I pushed better, I think, at that point. And they told me, okay, his head is getting out, so you're doing great, just keep going, just keep going. After I think 2 pushes like that, well, 2 contractions, he was out. So I was really relieved, but we didn't hear her cry. They basically threw him on me. They asked my partner very quickly if he wanted to cut the cord. He said yes, he did it, but baby was not crying, and baby head was very long. He was not crying, he was not moving, he was not responding, didn't seem to be breathing. His color was horrible. He was a blue-white color, very purple as well, so it didn't look very okay to me. We were talking to him, like moving him, but he was just not responding at all. So after maybe 20 seconds, they took him back. They had a station for baby on the side. They tried, I think they cleared his airways, stuff like that. I was just looking because I could not see anything. My partner was next to him, but we were looking at each other and we were like, what the hell is going on? They were trying, and after maybe a minute, they were like, we're going to have to take him to another room with specialists because he's really struggling to breathe. Then I was like, okay, fine. We looked at each other, and after a minute, they came back and asked if my partner wanted to go, and I was like, go, just be with him. A lot of people came out of the room. I think there were only 3 people with me: the anesthesiologist, my midwife, I think, and the obstetrician, because we still had to deliver the placenta. We did that. It was a bit painful as well. She was looking at stuff and I was just trying to recover. I was in a lot of pain. I was exhausted to a point that I didn't really know what to do with myself. I was covered in blood and mucus and stuff like that. I didn't really know what was happening, honestly. I think I was in shock. And at some point she was like, I'm really sorry, but I think there's a membrane stuck in your uterus and we have to get it out, otherwise you could bleed out. And I was like, okay, what do you need to do? It's like, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to have to go with my hand. She tried once. I screamed, so they topped up my epidural. She had to go twice. That was really painful, and then she was like, you're good, there's nothing left, we're fine. She sewed me up. I only had like a 1st-degree tear, which was really nothing, so she was like, you're good. I was in so much pain. I was shaking from exhaustion, from the pain. I think my body didn't really know how to handle so much pain, and everything was too much. Also, didn't know what was happening with my baby. It had been like maybe 30 minutes and I didn't know what was happening, so much was going on in my head. And after maybe 30 minutes, someone came in and they were like, he's struggling to breathe, so we're giving him oxygen, and you know, he's getting a bit better. Dad is with him. We put some music for him, like Taylor Swift music, which made me laugh a bit. They continued working on me, and it felt really long, especially with the pain, because I guess when you have your baby on you and everything's fine, it goes way more quickly than it did for me, because I was just all alone. I didn't have my baby, I didn't have my partner with me. I felt really lonely, to be honest, and very scared, very nervous. I was like, is he even going to be okay? I don't really know. So waited for a bit. After maybe an hour, someone came back and they're like, we're going to bring you your baby. He's doing better. I think it's going to do him some good to be on his mother. Your partner is coming with him. Are you okay with that? I was like, yes, please, yes. They entered the room. By then, all the doctors were done with me, so they left and we were just the 3 of us together. I talked to him. He cried. He responded really well, so we were really relieved. And I looked at my partner and I started bawling my eyes out. He was crying as well, to be honest. And we were in shock. We were so happy to have our baby, but at the same time, we were like, what the hell happened? And after that, some doctors came to see me if I was bleeding or not. They had a pediatrician come into the room to check baby, and he actually came during the night as well to check that everything was okay, because he was hooked on a lot of things. And after a while, someone came and they were like, okay, you're going to be able to go up to your room. And then someone came back and they were like, I'm so sorry to be telling you this. There's no single room left available, so you're going to have to be in a double room, meaning that dad cannot stay. That was just too much. I was like, it's 9 p.m, like 9:30 p.m. Are you telling me that after giving birth at 5:27 p.m. I'm going to be all alone with my baby, and I'm so tired. I haven't eaten anything all day. And I didn't say that to her because she was they were so nice. Everyone was so nice, but she was like, I'm so sorry, we hate this, we don't understand double rooms, this is not what we like to do, but we don't have any more rooms available, so didn't have a choice. That was really hard, because as soon as we got into the room, my partner went to get our bags from the car. After that, he had to leave because there was already someone in the room with her baby. We didn't really have a choice. That night was hell on earth. I remember I was just sat on the bed looking at Oliver, and I was in pure shock. I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, I don't even know how to care for him. Nobody had told me by then how to hold him, change him, nurse him. I had no idea what to do, and that night was really difficult. After that, honestly, every day was hard. We had to stay for 5 days because of many reasons, but first of all, the double room was really hard. There were so many people coming and going. Of course, there's the medical people that come to see you, but also in a double room, they're seeing your neighbors. So there's so many people coming all the time. You have to care for your baby, and once you've helped your baby get to sleep, there's another baby crying or having to get changed. It was really difficult to have to deal with all of that, especially on my own at night, because I was exhausted. Of course, I was not sleeping. I felt like I had to learn everything so much more quickly and absorb information, because I had to take care of him on my own at night, especially when I was tired. However, the people working at this hospital are angels. They were so nice. They took so much time explaining everything, spending time with me at night when I had such a hard time nursing him. Even after that, breastfeeding was really difficult, so we had someone who's a bit more of a specialist really help us, and they allowed us to go home once they were sure that baby was eating enough. Also, he had lost so much weight that we could not go until he had put on a bit more weight, and that they were sure that breastfeeding was doing better. We had to supplement with a specific formula that they use in the NICU that doesn't have any cow milk, so that was great because he was not eating enough. They took so much time taking care of us, knowing that they were overbooked. Every room was used, even ours, which was usually a spare that they didn't use because they didn't have the staff. They were incredible. Also, another thing, baby had jaundice. It was horrible. He had to go under the blue lights. He hated it. It was like 4-hour stretches. He hated it. He had to have a mask. He was struggling with the mask. It was just horrible. And when they finally allowed us to go home on a Tuesday, mind you, I gave birth on a Thursday, we had to go back on that Thursday for baby to get a blood test to check that it was getting better. An hour later, they called us back and they were like, you need to come here. Baby needs to be admitted to the NICU and stay 2 nights because he will have to go under the lights again and do like 3 times this time instead of 2, because it was 4 hours on, 4 hours off, etc. I cried so much. We had finally got home. It was really difficult. We were both really struggling with exhaustion, but also everything was difficult, and we were just getting used to being home, the 3 of us, and we had to go back. I stayed with him. I could not leave him there. It was not possible, knowing how much he struggled under the lights. And after that, we came back home, and after then it was really hard. And honestly, my postpartum was difficult in terms of, I think my body recovered pretty quickly. The stitches were not too painful. Of course, it was really like stingy when I was peeing. I had to make sure not to overdo it, but honestly, I was taking care of the baby all on my own at night. So of course I was standing up too much. Of course I was walking too much. Of course I was not taking great care of myself, but thankfully my body just kind of knew what to do. I felt good about myself. I felt stronger because I was able to take care of him, but it was really hard. And when we came back home, everything was difficult. Baby has been struggling with a lot of digestive issues. He's struggling to fall asleep on his own. You know, like everything kind of escalated. And on top of that, we're dealing with PTSD from the birth, and I'm really talking about it a lot with my therapist. We're talking about it together a lot with my partner. We're trying to be very open about everything. At first, really talking about the birth and the trauma of it and really supporting each other. And after that, it's been, you know, like taking care of him, doing our best so that one or the other can rest mentally and physically. And we're very lucky because in France, men have a 4-week paternity leave and women have 6 weeks before birth, 10 weeks after birth. So already that's so great. Even because I delivered early, it was still fine. And because we are moving and my partner is starting a new job, he has to take all his vacation days before he leaves the company. So he has been with me for 2 months and I am so grateful for that because it's been really hard and it's the two of us working together as a team. So I don't understand how women who have to be on their own super soon do it. Honestly, I don't know why. Women are super women, to be honest, we have superpowers, but these women, hats off to you. I don't even know how you do it. It's just like mind-blowing to me that we even have to be in that situation. However, baby is doing really good. He has started smiling, which is the best thing ever. It makes up for everything, the hard nights, the crying, the issues he has with his stomach. It's just incredible. A few numbers. So he was born at 37 weeks and 3 days. He weighed 2.690 kilos, so it's 5.93 pounds, and he was 47 centimeters long, so 18.5 inches. So he was tiny. He was so small, like so small. At first it was really like nerve-wracking to even hold him because he weighed nothing and he was so tiny, but he has put on some weight, which is great. He is the cutest thing ever. I've been filming a vlog the postpartum times, like August and September pretty much. I've been filming whenever I've been able to, whenever I can do it, because sometimes I just forget. It's no joke that postpartum is a whirlwind and that you have no time. I could not really comprehend that before. The days blend together and feel really long but really short at the same time. It's quite challenging. I hope this was not too long, but honestly I really wanted to talk about everything and just share my experience. If you've experienced yourself a traumatic birth, I hope you're doing better. Don't hesitate to write a comment if you're able to, or even like send me a DM on Instagram. I'm at Gabrielle Snow. There's the link in the description box. Yeah, if you want to talk about it, I'm here for you. It's so hard and you feel so alone, but you're not alone. And at night when I feed him like at 3 o'clock in the morning, I think about all of the other mothers that do that, and we're all doing this together, but we're not together, but it's like a community. I'm going to leave you. I have a friend coming over to meet Oliver. He's sleeping on his dad, I'm pretty sure, in the next room, which is cute. We're packing as well because we're moving. So this is the last corner of the house that you will see, and I hope you'll stick around. Do like the video if you enjoyed it. It really helps, and subscribe if you want to follow along. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're doing great, and I'll see you guys in the next one.